Timber trade market in Australia. Introduction. In this presentation, the video will show the important impacts that imported goods have to Australia and its effect on both the global trade market and the construction industry. In order to understand the definition of the term global construction market, let us first understand what the global market is. The global market is the activity of buying and or selling of goods, services to other countries of the world. Combining the terminology for construction, it becomes the act of importing and exporting construction resources, materials, and equipment to other nations. Timber is a renewable energy source used throughout the world in the construction industry. It is the most commonly used as a material for the structural element in domestic construction. This is due to its properties as a flexible yet durable and versatile product, which provides a variety of uses. Its applications make it a popular construction material, especially in Australia, where most single-standing houses use timber. The market share of imported timber in Australia is relatively stable in the recent decade, 18%. However, the value of imported timber increases by 83 million from 779 million in 2009 to 762 million in 2010. The major export countries are New Zealand, China, Malaysia, Indonesia. However, Australians will have difficulty in deciding the parts of import and exported goods, whether or not to choose Australian made or imported goods from other nations. Price. In comparison between a major Chinese exporter and an Australian plywood manufacturer of standard plywood varieties show a sizable gap between the cost with the Australian manufactured product coming at a significantly higher cost. This can be attributed to significantly lower manufacturing costs due to things such as economies of scale and drastically lower wages. For elements such as rust-sawn structural pine left, in comparison again shows a significant difference between the price of foreign imports and Australian stock. Russia and Sweden, two of Europe's largest exporters, are up to $900 cheaper per cubic meter than its Australian counterpart. In comparison to a major Chinese distributor, the Australian counterpart is up to $800 more expensive. However, purchasing from overseas exporters, there are also added extras of tariffs and shipping costs. When taking a look at the average distribution of costs between purchase, tariff, and shipping, we can see that the price of purchase consumes a majority of 89%, while the other 12% is distributed to tariffs and shipping costs at 7% and 6% respectively. Environment. Most Australia's production forest areas are likely to experience lower rainfalls and higher temperatures. Log availability from Australia's forests is projected to steady decline by 2050. As the supply of Australian timber will decrease, there will be a positive shortage of timber supply. Meanwhile, due to the increasing population growth, Australia is having a cumulative shortage of dwellings, which further increases the possibility of shortage supply of Australian timber. Therefore, it is significantly necessary to increase the volume of imported timber. Also, forests are an important component of global carbon cycle. Housing has already been one of the biggest contributor to greenhouse gases, for example, construction activities and in-use building emissions. If Australia imports timber products from other countries, total national emission carbon dioxide will decrease as plantation areas increase. Proposal. Australia is the largest importer of both softwood and hardwood timber products. Increase in demand for timber in 2010 led to the increase in timber imports by 6% to almost $430 million. Due to Australia's numerous free trade agreements, there are a limited number of timber-related items that face tariff fees. Currently, Australia has agreements with China, New Zealand, Thailand, Singapore, New Zealand, United States, China, Malaysia, Korea, and Japan. Tax-based rates range from 0% to 10%. However, most items have a 0% base rate. However, some major export countries, for example Indonesia and Russia, are not included in this agreement. Therefore, we propose that the Australian government consider broadening the free trade agreement policy as a lower tariff rate, the lower the final cost, and more demand from Australia. Regulations. All imports of timber and related wooden articles are regulated by the biosecurity import conditions set out by the Department of Agriculture. Within this system of conditions, productions are determined if they are permitted in Australia, subject to import conditions, require supporting documentation, require treatment, or need an impact permit. If these conditions are not met, then delays, additional costs, and re-exportation or destruction of goods may occur. The Department of Agriculture has re-established these conditions to protect Australia from exotic pests and other biosecurity risks. Australia is